Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, and Barak the Yahushai. I take all praises to you, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth in the spirit and sincerity and the truth. Yeah, I just did a couple articles which further proves, this man was set up to take peace from the earth. This is out of AP News, the Associated Press. It says Iran offers to reopen Strait of Hormuz if U.S. lifts its blockade and the war ends, officials say. And we all know that he's not going to do that, because, Lord will, we're at the end of this thing, and it's just going to push forward. But, this man was set up, Esau, he was set up to take peace from the earth. Nothing but wars going on. It's really since, America came into power. Been nothing but wars. Yes, the Associated Press was dated today, April 27th, 2026, as Iran offered to end its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz if the U.S. lifts its blockade of the country and ends the war, in a proposal that would postpone discussions on the Islamic Republic's nuclear program. Two officials said. The U.S. President Donald Trump seems unlikely to accept the offer, which was passed to the Americans by Pakistan, and would leave unresolved the disagreements that led the U.S.-Israeli war, that led the U.S. and Israel to go to war on February 28th. So, the point being, they offer solutions. They would open up the Strait of Hormuz if they would just end the war, but he's not going to do that, really, because it's the Most High controlling the minds of these leaders, he's controlling the minds of Trump, to take this peace and to bring on, this World War III. There's another article out of Russia Today, RT.com. It was dated April 27th, yesterday, 2026. It says, Iranian foreign minister meets with Putin in Russia. So this is just more prophecy about, how Russia is going to be a guard to Iran. Russia has vested interest, in Iran, mainly through that oil and whatnot. So they're going to protect, Iran, according to the scriptures. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has met with Russian President Vladimir Putin amidst all diplomatic efforts to end the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. He met with Putin and senior officials, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and head of Russia's military intelligence. Direct U.S. negotiations have stalled after U.S. President Donald Trump called off a planned trip by his envoys to Islamabad over the weekend, saying the Iranians can call if they want to talk. So yeah, he's blowing off peace talks, and they're already in a ceasefire, but it's gonna escalate, Lord will. But yeah, more prophecy. Iran, meeting with Putin, meeting with their military advisors and their foreign ministers, because according to the scriptures, Russia is going to be a guard, onto Iran. So basically, it's just the same man, but different article. But this man was set up to take peace from the earth. Now this is Revelation 6:1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard it was as if it was a noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." That seals represents, the understanding of these scriptures, And Yahushua broke these seals, and the understanding is now, available, to his elect, through the apostles and the elders, breaking the scriptures down the right way. Yahushua loosened these seals in the end times. That's how we know, we're at the end, because this knowledge has been pushed throughout the four corners of the earth through the internet. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth to conquer and to conquer. That somebody Yahushua owned them chariots. That's what's going to happen when he returns. He's going to conquer, going forth conquering and to conquer, and to take the crowns of these different, world leaders, along with his whole host of heaven, the angels, in those chariots. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. It's talking about a red horse. It's talking about Esau, so-called white man, the one that's in power. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, through his blessing, that weapon, ultimately that nuclear, destruction, that nuclear weapon, which is why he doesn't want Iran to possess that weapon, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Yeah, that great sword is that nuclear weapon, man. It's Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals of the fire. The smiths, those nuclear technicians, those engineers, those nuclear scientists that were able to split the atom. The Lord gave them the knowledge to create this nuclear technology, to be able to split the atom and create that large, atomic bomb, which grew into a nuclear bomb. The Lord created that's the Lord's technology. He gave him the knowledge, to create that weaponry. I said, "Behold, I have created the smith." The Lord did all this. And behold, the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. That waster is a nuclear destruction, man, which is what they're all fighting over in the Middle East. The U.S., Israel, they don't want Iran to possess that nuclear, waster, that waster to destroy, because he'll be strong. Some say, "Let the weak say I'm strong." That's why these smaller nations have. That's why they want that nuclear technology, because once they have it, people can't bully them around. Those small nations like India, like North Korea, and all those people that have that technology. You notice how U.S. doesn't really mess with those nations. That's the sole reason why Iran wants that power. The reason why Israel doesn't want them, to have that power. That's that great sword. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the saints of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. No weapon. So that nuclear technology, that nuclear destruction is going to come nigh. It's going to come near the elect, or the other weapon, because the elect has that hedge around them, and ultimately they're going to be delivered by Yahushua. Yeah. It says, and there went out another horse that was red. It was on Esau. Power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And he's taking peace, because the whole earth, is in mourning. So Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And people are mourning all over the planet Earth, man. All over the United States, out here in California, people are mourning because the wicked are bearing rule, man. Homelessness is through the roof. Job loss, you know. Depression is at an all-time high. Drug use, now that's affecting, Esau's community, his people, caught up in that methamphetamine and that all those different drugs that they're dying off with, and fentanyl and all that. Why? Because the whole earth is in mourning. Because the wicked is bearing rule. That's how you know who the wicked is. Somebody Esau, the wicked of the planet Earth, man. But all that's going to change when the New Jerusalem comes down, from heaven. When the elect is delivered, Yahushua returns, establishes his rulership on the planet Earth. This whole earth is going to change. It says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and the people are going to rejoice, in the kingdom of heaven, man. Even in slavery. Except for Esau, man. There's Isaiah 14:1. The Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. So eventually, we're going to go back to our land. The Lord's going to have mercy on the entire, nation of Israel. All Israel is going to be saved eventually. But on this time around, only the elect is going to have that mercy from Yahweh Yahushua and be delivered. Will yet choose Israel. And say, and we choose all nations. No, the Lord is only going to deal with Israel. Yeah. The Lord only deals with Israel. Out of all the families of the earth, only you have, as he known, as the Lord know, the Israelites. And set them in their own land. Yeah, we're going to go back to our land and the whole planet Earth, man. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The strangers talking about the Israelite foreigners. Talking about the Israelite foreigners. They're going to cleave unto the house of Jacob, man. They're going to come back to who they are. Whether they're going to come back to their nationality. And they're going to be happy that they're an Israelite. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, Yahweh Yahushua, for servants and handmaids. Now this is talking about the other nations, the Gentile nations, the Goyim, the heathen nations. For servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And we were captives under all nations, That's why the Lord said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? So all these nations are going to go into slavery under the Israelites. And they shall rule over their oppressors. It shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hand of bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Yeah. So the Lord's going to give us, peace of mind. He's going to give us peace in our land back, man. He's going to give us our freedom. He's going to break that yoke, from off our necks. That spiritual yoke that's around our necks. That physical yoke has been broken. We still have that spiritual yoke. It's going to free us from that bondage, and set us back into our own land, man. And thy sorrow, the depression that Jake is dealing with right now, the Lord's going to heal us from that. And from thy fear, Jake, you're never going to feel fear again, man. Only fear of Yahushua. That fear is still going to exist. But fear of these other nations, fear of our lives, no assurity of our life, that curse that's on us right now, that's going to be removed. Fear of these other nations, fear of animals, fear of our own people, The Lord's going to take that away. And from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Now we're not going to serve our enemies for the want of all things anymore. They're going to serve us. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Talking about America. Yeah, the golden city is gonna cease, man. It's gonna be destroyed. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Yeah, the Lord's gonna break that power and take him out of power. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The Lord's gonna take him down. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. That's the rejoicing of the people, man. The whole earth is going to be at rest. Even the trees, yeah, it says, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee. Cedars of Lebanon saying, now, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. Because that's what Esau, he chops down these trees for no reason. He chopped down a whole tree just to make a pencil, man. Yeah, that's the point. You know, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. That's how we know who the wicked is, man, in this time, man. Esau, man. He's the wicked, man. He's set up to take peace from the earth. You know, that's why this war is going. Really, the Lord is controlling them. You know, to get this, World War III going, man. This Most High's determination, to gather the nations over in the Middle East, man, to bring forth his will. That's what we look forward to. With that, shalom.